Welcome to the Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kauna-unahang lingguhang talakayan ng mga bagong balita at batas ukol sa Australian Migration Law and Process. Tuwing Miyerkules 6 to 6:30 ng gabi mula sa AusPac Visa. AusPac Visa is a trusted Australian migration agency for Filipinos all over the world. AusPac Visa is the home for all Filipino professionals, skilled workers, partners, families, students, graduates, and trainees who want to visit, live, work, and permanently stay in Australia. Makipanayam dito sa Visa Mo, Sagot Ko, ang kalahating oras na talakayan ng mga balita, batas, proseso, at mga isyung tungkol sa pag-a-apply ng Australian visa. Kasama niyo po si Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer at Registered Migration Agent mula sa AusPac Visa sa Brisbane, Australia. Paalala lang po na ang mga talakayan at mga impormasyong mababanggit sa programang ito ay sa pawang mga impormasyon lamang at hindi payong legal at hindi rin at walang kinalaman sa mga personal at matatanging sitwasyon ng mga nanonood at nakikinig. Ang Australian Immigration Law ay madalas na nagbabago kung kaya't makabubuti na ugaliing magsayasat at humingi ng payong akma sa inyong pansariling pangangailangan. At ngayon, live mula sa Brisbane, Australia, ang inyong host at tagapagtalakay ng mga balita, issue, batas at proseso na nauukol sa Australian Migration and Visa Application, Teresa Cardona, Director, Lawyer, and Registered Migration Agent from AusPac Visa.
Hello, good evening everyone. So magandang gabi po muli sa inyong lahat, and magandang gabi po sa mga nakikinig sa atin from all over the world, and sa mga tumatangkilik pa rin sa amin hanggang ngayon, maraming salamat po. Okay, so again, dun sa ating usual routine, if you have any questions or if you want to share something, just put whatever you want to put on our comment box, and we're going to share it with other people who are here and answer the questions if you have some questions. Okay, so tonight there are good news and bad news. Okay, so one good news, Victoria is open and Victoria has sent some invitations to eligible applicants. No? But most of the invitations that went out today are for subclass 491. So for subclass 491, social worker were invited at 80 points for 491. And also accountants, 70 points for accountants are also invited. And mind you, these are offshore applicants, not onshore applicants. So I think, you know, the principle that was said by the Minister of Home Affairs a few months ago is, you know, kicking in. So they want people who are competent and who are highly skilled than those people who are persistent. So meaning to say, nagkakaroon na ng leveling between the offshore and onshore applications. So para walang may iwan. So good for offshore applicants nowadays, because you have the same priority, the same footing with the onshore applicants. Okay, now another good news for those parent visa applicants. I just want to make it clear now. Parent visa applicants. For parent visa applicants are the contributory and the normal age parent applicants who have lodged their application offshore. Most of the tourist visa, mag-apply po kayo ng tourist visa, most of the tourist visa are being granted na for 5 years, multiple entry. No? Pero nangyayari ito for those who have pending visa application for offshore parent visa. Okay? So that's the second good news. Now, Queensland is about to open as well. I think, no, Queensland is open, I'm sorry. But I think the rounds is going on this time or within the week. So we are expecting something from Queensland within the week. New South Wales, wala pa, medyo quiet ang New South Wales. And of course, the other states. No? Now, bad news. No? Bad news would be student visa holders again. So last week I was discussing the issues with student visa applications. Now, for the student visa holders who are currently offshore or who have been here for many years and breach their visa conditions, are receiving NOIC, the Notice of Intention to Consider Visa Cancellation. Okay, so uh, again, this is an issue for those who are breaching their visa conditions. But let us try to unpack what is notice of intention to consider cancellation. We usually call this as NOIC, N-O-I-C-C. No? Sorry, hindi ko nabati yung iba. No? Sige, bati lang po kayo and put your questions. No? Kung nasaan kayo, magandang gabi and let us know kung nasaan kayo. Ha? Okay, so let's do the notice of intention to consider cancellation or NOIC. It is a notice that you can receive or you may receive from the Department of Home Affairs if Home Affairs is thinking or suspecting or if it appears to them that you have breached your visa condition or if it appears to them that you have grounds for cancellation. Now, this is a way of the Department of Home Affairs of telling you to explain your side. So you are being given a notice in order for you to respond whatever is the accusation given to you by the immigration. Okay, so you will have an opportunity to explain. Normally, the Department of Home Affairs give at least 28 days for you to respond to NOIC. Now, in some situation, you can request for an extension to respond. In some cases, it is allowed, and in some cases, it is not, depending on the submission that you're going to do or depending on the response that you're going to do. Now, in what circumstances have NOIC been issued? So one, the moment you provide incorrect information. So if the incorrect information is so serious that will, ask the immigration to cancel the visa. And then second, if you provided bogus documents or false information to mislead the department. Now, if the visa application is in process, you will usually receive Section 56 or Section 57 notice. But if you already have the visa or you are a holder of a visa, this is what you receive when immigration found out that you provided incorrect information or you have provided the bogus documents. So which means to say that, say, for example, you use a bogus documents or you provided false information to the immigration, don't be so complacent and relax saying, nakalusot na ako, hindi na to, may visa na ako, hindi na to pwedeng kunin ng immigration. No, you are not right in there because immigration has the power to cancel your visa if this situation comes up. Kaya nga, di ba yung iba, merong sinasabi na, dinab kasi ako sa immigration o merong nagsumbong sa akin. So, if that happens, well, immigration takes seriously whatever the dubbing is, whatever is the report. And if they found out that the report or the dubbing is, has some grounds, then they issue a NOIC. Okay, so providing incorrect information and providing bogus documents or false information. And again, yung third is, of course, the breach of visa conditions. Now, this happens, specifically, this ground is being given to student visa holders. One is maybe they're not attending their classes. So by visa condition, you need to attend at least 80% of your attendance. And by not being enrolled, by not keeping your enrollment. So yung iba nagka-cancel o hindi uma-attend sa kanilang enrolled course, then that's a problem. Or in worst case scenario is If you are enrolled and then suddenly you disappeared, you did not contact your college, and then your college has canceled your ECOE without notifying you, don't blame the college for not notifying you, because that's your responsibility as well. Although, of course, there's an obligation to notify you. Kaya lang, minsan, nino-notify kayo dun sa email, hindi nyo natatanggap or for whatever reason, then yeah, it can be possible na na-cancel na pala yung ECOE mo, and then you're still in Australia without a COE. So that's a breach of visa condition as well, because you are not enrolled in a course anymore. You must maintain enrollment in your school as part of your visa conditions. Now, again, another one is character concern, or if you have criminal records, which probably you did not disclose when you were making an application, or it could be possible that you are a visa holder, then you committed something that has something to do with your character. What are those? We had some cases before, say for example, domestic violence or family violence, parehong naka-student visa, and then nakakommit ang asawa ng family violence sa kanyang partner na naka-student visa din. Or sometimes may mga nadispalkong pera sa pinagtatrabahuhan nila, or sometimes gumamit sila ng mga papers na hindi naman para sa kanila, o forge sila, o kaya gumamit ng iba't ibang mga papeles, no? So those are the things that are taken into account. Kahit na visa holder kayo, kung malalaman ng immigration o merong nag-report sa immigration sa inyo, then that could be a part of it. And also, halimbawa, meron din kayong mga court cases. Now, sa court, kailangang i-report nila yan sa immigration. Kung merong charges sa inyo, nire-report din yan sa immigration. So that could be a part of it. Okay, hindi naman siya nagreklamo or something, pero kung meron kayong police charges, then police will have the obligation to report it to the immigration. And that could be a ground for NOIC as well. And then other circumstances in which the visa was granted no longer exist. Now, say for example, kung kayo ay employer-sponsored, nawala yung employer nyo, at nandito pa rin kayo sa Australia, then your visa can be canceled. Okay? O kaya naman, family migration din. Kung halimbawa, nawala na rin yung sponsor nyo na family, or may nangyari sa kanila na hindi nyo na-report, or ibig sabihin, hindi na nag-exist yung relationship, then it could also be another ground for NOIC. And then if you receive a NOIC, what can you do? Now, first of all, you have to respond to NOIC in writing and explain why your visa should not be canceled. Okay, you can do it on your own, but in our opinion, you have to get a legal advice on this, because if you jump quickly and then say whatever you want, and then you, without knowing or unintended, na-incriminate nila yung sarili nyo, no? So, and then of course, if you do have a legal advice, so you know how to properly answer those things that were set out by the immigration in the NOIC. And then, on the side of the immigration, what will be taken into account? So, pag nag-respond kayo, then you have to explain the purpose of your travel to Australia, and then the extent of your visa compliance with any visa condition. So, which means to say, kung wala kang record sa immigration, that means, bibigyan ka ng kaunting understanding ng immigration. Pero kung palaging yung pangalan mo nasa immigration, naka-red flag ka, then obviously, your response will be taken lightly by the immigration. If not, they could consider that as irrelevant or not appropriate or something. And of course, the degree of hardship that you are experiencing, and also of the member of the family as well, if the visa is canceled. So this is where the compelling and compassionate reasons or grounds would come in. Yeah, so medyo mahaba yan, medyo malawak yung area na yan. And in most cases, the compelling and compassionate grounds are really good situation or circumstances to actually win the NOIC. And of course, your behavior to the department. What does it mean when it say behavior to the department? Now, you've got to show up. Huwag ka magtago sa department, because the more na nagtatago ka, the more you make yourself in a dangerous position, no? So pakita ka or mag-report ka, paalam mo sa kanila what's going on instead of nagtatago-tago ka. Kasi if, say for example, your visa is canceled or nakita nila na that you're not serious in compliance, then they can easily pick you up. So, and then whether there are any person in Australia whose visa would or may be canceled if your visa is canceled. So, nangyayari ito isa sa mga families, no, na isa lang yung pwedeng kakancelan pero madadamay yung pamilya, no. So, in that case, siguro you can move on the compelling and compassionate situations. Okay? So, those are the things that will be taken into account by the immigration, including kung meron ka mga obligations sa mga relevant international agreement, ito ay para sa Australia. Like for example, yung sa mga bata, no, the best interest of the child, kasama yan. And then of course, yung obligation ng Australia sa mga refugees, obligation ng Australia sa international community. And of course, kung meron pang ibang relevant matters that will make your response to NOIC stronger. Now, and then what can you do if the visa is canceled despite response to NOIC? So, unang-una, you can consider leaving Australia. So in other words, nakanselahan ka and you normally have 35 days to leave Australia. So maybe pack up if you think that hindi na winnable yung case mo na yan, pack up and then go. Another thing that for a review to the tribunal and then show to the tribunal whatever is your situation, and maybe tribunal can see your situation in a different light than what you have presented to the immigration. Or alternatively, you can seek a judicial review if you think there were legal errors or judicial errors that happened while the cancellation process and decision happened. Okay? So, anong tip namin diyan sa mga nangyayaring ganyan sa NOIC, no? Ang tip namin is basically don't haste to respond. Kapag ka nakatanggap kayo ng NOIC, huwag kayong magwala, huwag kayong magalit kung kani-kanino, basahin yung sulat ng maigi. And then if you think you have reasons bakit hindi kailangang i-cancel yung visa nyo, seek our help, seek our assistance before you send out something to the immigration. Because the moment you send out something, it's just so hard to retrieve. At baka mamaya hindi maayos yung pagkakapresent mo at hindi makuha ng kabilang side yung real message mo doon sa gusto mong i-present. Okay? So that's the first part. That's about NOIC. So kung meron kayong tanong sa NOIC o kung nakatanggap kayo ng NOIC o kung in danger kayong makakatanggap ng NOIC, just, give us your message o kaya naman ay pwede kayong magtanong so you can share whatever your stories here in Visa Mo Sagot Ko so that I can also answer, no? So kung mayroong tanong in regards to NOIC, maybe we can start answering them. Otherwise, I will go to skilled migration dun sa points test. Kasi baka maraming nag-aantay tungkol sa points test. Okay? Meron ba tayong...
Wala po, attorney.
Okay. So wala tayong related tungkol sa NOIC. Okay, so let's proceed to skilled migration and about points test. No? Okay, dun sa points test, you know that in migrating to Australia, there are different categories, right? So, merong student visa pathway, merong skilled migration pathway, merong family visa pathway, merong sponsored visa pathway, which is the working visa, and then all the other areas. No? So, itong tinatawag nating skilled migration, this is for skilled people living offshore or even already here in Australia who want to migrate permanently to Australia. And when we say skilled migration, we are talking of visa 491, family-sponsored visa, 491, regional-sponsored visa, 190, state-sponsored visa, and the 189, independent skilled visa. Yung pong apat na visa na iyon ay nangangailangan ng assessment ng points nyo. Okay, so you need to pass 65 points. And when you have the 65 points, then you can have the confidence to at least approach the EOI or yung expression of interest. Okay, I'm not so sure if we have slides on that. Hindi ko masyado nakita to kanina, medyo late kami. But anyway, so for skilled migration, the basic question really is, do you pass the points test? Now, kayo na mag-calculate ha, so we're just going to discuss this one. So again, the pass mark is 65 points, okay? So in terms of age, if you are applying to migrate to Australia, before we go to Asia, if you are applying to migrate to Australia, it is very, very important that you have a nominated occupation. Okay? Hindi ito basta, okay, calculate natin 65. You need to have a nominated occupation that is on the list. Okay? Pag pinag-usapan natin yung list, merong MLTSL and meron ding STSOL and meron ding ROL. Okay? So for example, kayo ay engineer, so dapat meron na kayong skills assessment from Engineers Australia before you actually go to skill select, in which you are going to claim your points. Okay? So in terms of the calculation of your points, pagdating sa age, if you are in the age group of 18 to 24, you get 25 points. Group age 25 to 32, you have 30 points. Group age 33 to 39, 25 points. And then 40 to 44, 15 points. So what did you notice there? Hanggang 44 lang po yung migration sa Australia. No? Hindi po kagaya sa New Zealand na hanggang 55 sila. Hanggang 45 lang po ang cut-off ng skilled migration to Australia. So kung kayo ay nasa labas na niyan, unfortunately, eliminated kayo by age. Okay? And then second is your English. Now, for English, you have to do either PTE, IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge. Now, all of those are accepted. But there are some assessing authority that only accept IELTS. Like, for example, for teachers, they only accept IELTS. The AITSL doesn't like anything else but IELTS 8778. Okay? Now, for English, if you get 6.0, that will be 0 points. Pero na-meet mo yung threshold. So, pero kung 5 points yung English IELTS, we cannot proceed to skills assessment. Okay? So, for proficient English, that means 7.0, you get 10 points. And if your English is superior, then you get 20 points. Okay, so competent is 6.0 IELTS, proficient is 7.0 IELTS, and superior is 8.0 IELTS. Okay, yung katumbas meron din siyang PTE. Okay, now for the third category is a skilled employment for the last 10 years. So it's very, very important that you had at least any of those years in the last 10 years. So the longer your work experience in your nominated occupation, the better it is for you because you're going to get higher points. So if your work experience is 8 to 10 years in your nominated occupation, not in any other occupation, right? So you will get 15 points. And if your work experience in your nominated occupation is 5 to 8 years, you're going to get 10 points. If your nominated occupation is 3 to 5 years length, you're going to get 5 points. And if it is 0 to 3 years, you don't get any points. So when we say outside of Australia, it could be anywhere in Australia. It could be in Saudi Arabia. It could be in Dubai. It could be in Philippines, as long as you can fully document your supporting documents to claim for the work experience, for the skilled employment experience. Now, in some cases, the skilling authority do have their points assessment as well. So sometimes ginagawa nila yan, or sometimes you can request it for an extra fee. And then the fourth category is the skilled employment for the last 10 years in Australia. Okay, so if you work in Australia in your nominated occupation, you can claim for points. If you work, say, for example, 8 to 10 years in Australia in your nominated occupation, you get 20 points. If you work from 5 to 8 years, you get 15 points. If you get 3 to 5 years work experience, 10 points. And if you get 1 to 3 years, you get 5 points. And if it is 0 to 1 year, you don't have any points. Okay? So kaya yung mga naka-student visa, minsan nakakuha sila ng 1-year work experience because they have the graduate visa after studying in Australia. And normally they get 5 points out of that. And then in terms of qualification, if you completed your doctorate degree in eligible universities, you get 20 points. If you've done your bachelor or master's in eligible universities, that will be 15 points. And if you finish your diploma, that will be 10 points. And for other recognized universities, that will be 10 points. Now, in the case of Philippines, yung bachelor po natin, it's not always equivalent to bachelor in Australia. So that's why yung iba, they are downgraded to diploma. Instead of getting 15 points, they only get 10 points. Pero yung mga A1 universities sa atin, say for example, UP, Ateneo, UST, Silliman University, even the Holy Angel in Pampanga, they are considered, the bachelor degrees awarded by their institutions are considered bachelor degree in Australia. That's why they can claim for 15 points. And then the 6 categories, the Australian study requirement. If you studied in Australia for Cricos Code registered programs for 92 weeks, you get 5 points. So this area, of course, yung mga offshore applicants, hindi na nila nakukuha yan because they never study in Australia. And then 7, if you've done some special educational qualification like doctorate and master's degree na qualified, then you get an extra 10 points. And fourth, state nomination. If you are nominated by the state and sponsored by the state under the 190, you get a bonus points of 5 points. If it is for subclass 491, you get 15 points. Kaya nga maganda yung 491 kasi tataas yung inyong points. So really, the total eligible points that you should have is 65 points. Madaling kunin yan, no? So basta mataas yung English, bachelor degree, merong work experience, the offshore applicants have a really good standing to get an invitation in any of the states or even in the 189. No? Pero ngayon nga, maraming invitations coming from different states. Okay? So those are the things that I wanted to say. Kayo na ang magka-calculate, no? If you want to ask whether, say for example, meron kayong occupation, hindi nyo alam kung saan pupunta na state o kung ano yung magandang state, just post the question and I should be able to search it for you straight away. Okay? So let's go with the questions. Galing kay Maris, if teacher po, need rin po ba ng IELTS para sa 482 visa? Hindi po ba pwede ISPLR for English test po? Okay. Subclass 482 is a working visa. It is sponsored by an employer. If it is for a teacher, I don't think an employer can sponsor a teacher without a registration because they're not allowed to teach without a registration in Australia. So in other words, you need to pass first the registration requirement. And for the registration requirement, they do ask for IELTS, similar to the requirements of AITSL. So, yung first question, hindi tama kasi 482, they won't be able to sponsor you on a working visa if your nominated occupation is a teacher, because you need to have a registration first before you can be nominated. And they do want IELTS. Okay. Next one. Charlie Nosnag. Hello po, ma'am. Ask lang po kung ang 482 visa po ay pwede nang mag-PR sa 1860 RT stream. Need po ba ng skills assessment? Okay, with 482 since November 27, you can go to 1860 RT if you have completed at least 2 years work with your current employer. So one employer for 2 years, you get 186. You can proceed to 186. You need a skills assessment? No, you don't need a skills assessment if you're coming from PRT. But if you're going to 186 DE or indirect entry, then you will need a skills assessment. Okay. Okay, galing naman kay Rina Alicarte. Tinatanong ni Rina, good evening, attorney. Paano po kaya ina-assess ang skilled ng mga self-employed like me? I am a graduate of BS Computer Science, pero hindi po ako makapag-work related sa skill ko ever since. Pero po, I have existing business for 16 years, which is trading. If intended to study in Australia, pwede po kaya akong kumuha ng vet courses like automotive management or individual support? Thank you po. Wag mo alisin to, Kara, ha? Medyo mahaba. Unang-una, okay, kung ikaw ay self-employed, you will have to, I think, identify yourself. What is your role in the business? And then from the role, then we will try to match it with the list kung ito ay nasa listahan na mga pwedeng mag-migrate sa Australia. Now, kung ikaw naman ay BS Computer Science pero hindi ka nakapag-work dun sa qualification mo, again, you will have to go back to the same question, ano yung role ko? Kasi meron din naman tinatawag na RPL, yung Recognition of Prior Learning, so based on your work experience, na baka pwedeng ma-recognize yung mga ginawa mo sa trabaho. No? So, yun. But I'm not so sure what sort of job or task you're doing in your current role. So I think that's one thing that you need to identify. Now, if you're going to study in Australia, well, that's a different matter, no? So I would assume that if you've done your bachelor qualification and you've been working for 16 years, getting a vet program is probably not consistent to your current circumstances if you want to upgrade your qualification, because vet program is a downgrade, not an upgrade. So it will be, I think, very challenging to actually get the student visa for you. For automotive management or individual support, so again, those are two different things. No? Automotive is pagiging mekaniko, mahawak ng bakal. Yung individual support, humahawak ng tao. Nasaan ka doon at ano yung kaya mong gawin at nasaan yung galing mo. Okay, so you have to know what where you are and what you can do. Okay, not because of the visa, because at the end of the day, visa is not the end of it all. Ang pinaka-importante, masaya kayo sa trabaho nyo at magiging maganda yung buhay nyo because you like what you're doing. Okay, so next one. Antonio Castillo. Attorney, yung skilled employment po ba outside Australia should be same po ang ninonominate na skill po? No. Yung skilled employment po ba outside Australia? Hindi ko masyadong maintindihan yung tanong. So basta kung nag-nominate ka ng isang occupation, then whatever the work experience relevant, highly relevant to the nomination, then yeah, you can claim it in the last 10 years only. Okay, next. Maris ulit, saan po malalaman kung kasali school po sa Pinas, sa mga school sa makakuha ng points sa bachelor? We have a... Now, for us, registered migration agents and lawyers, and some lawyers doing migration, we do have a country education profile for all the countries. Now, that's part of our library resources. So maybe you can book for an appointment with us just to be sure on whether or not your school is a recognized university. And you can see whatever level of your school, whether it's a diploma comparative or a bachelor matching then or whatever. So we have that country education profile ang tawag doon, or CEP for Philippines. Okay, so the next one. Yep. Okay, so yeah, I think that's Maurice, and I think that's all that we have for tonight. Okay. So again, for all the things that you need to know about skilled migration, you can go back to all our Visa Mo Sagot Ko live because I have been discussing the things that you need to know. No, now with skilled migration, again, I will say it. It's a 491-189 or 190. Yung mga yon kailangan yun ng points test. And then when you start to approach the skilled migration, you will need to do different steps. Now, the first one is, of course, their skills assessment. You need to find out your nominated occupation or your role. And then second, once you have that, well, you will need to do your EOI or yung pupunta kayo sa skill select, then you're going to claim your points. And after EOI, if you need points from the state or from the regional area, get the 15 points or 5 points. Kung open doon, mas maganda kasi mas priority yung area na yon. Then you seek for nomination under the registration of interest or yung ROI. And once you are selected or invited by the state, then you will need to make an application, show your commitment to stay in the state, and then you get the sponsorship. From that sponsorship, then you start making an application for your visa. So kung mapapansin niyo po, yung visa application nandun sa dulo, nandun sa ika-4 pa. So marami pang pintuan na dadaanan bago talaga kayo mag-apply ng visa. So again, so EOI, ROI, state nomination, if you're doing the 491-190 and then visa application. But if you're doing the subclass 189, so you do the skill select, and then if you're invited, you go to visa application with the Department of Home Affairs. And then you wait for the outcome of that application. Now, at the moment, so medyo inaabot ng 9 months ang minimum processing for the skilled migration, and it could be a little bit longer kung may mga issue about verification, about medical, or about police clearances. So yun yung medyo magpapatagal. Okay, so I think that's it for me tonight. So maraming salamat po ulit sa inyo na nandito ngayon. And again, if you can share this video to your friends or your families, it will be really good, especially for those who are planning to migrate to Australia. Okay, so I'll see you next Wednesday for another episode of Visa Mo Sagot Ko. Maraming salamat po. Bye!
Australia, the land of opportunity, natural beauty, and endless possibilities. If you ever dreamed of calling Australia your home, Auspac Visa is here to make that dream a reality. At Auspac Visa, we specialize in helping Filipinos secure the Australian visa they need. Our team of experienced immigration experts is here to guide you every step of the way. From visa applications to paperwork, we handle it all. You can focus on planning your new life down under. And when the time comes, we'll be there with you as you take the oath and become an Australian citizen. Join the thousands of satisfied clients who have made their dreams come true with Auspac Visa. Australia is waiting for you. Contact Auspac Visa today and start your journey towards a brighter future. Auspac Visa, your trusted immigration law services. Call us today or visit our website to schedule your consultation.